Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Basketball Maestros podcast. Today, we're going to be doing our first tier list of the podcast. So, we got four tier lists to fill out. So, hopefully, you get a little spicy, get some hot takes in here, maybe a little bit of a debate going on. But yeah, we got some tier lists that will probably take up most of the show. We're going to touch on some NFL news. We'll dive into Tom Brady at the time of this recording on Wednesday. Called it a career this morning, and I want to rant about the Lakers Celtics game that happened this past weekend. So we'll talk about that. Starting off with the NFL, Tom Brady calling it a career. There's a lot of speculation on if he was going to retire or not, go to a team like the Raiders that I swear to God, every time we talk about something on the podcast and we predict something will happen, it doesn't happen. So we raised the question: will Tom Brady be a Raider? Daniel speculated, saying that he would be a Raider, and sure enough, a couple days later, he calls it a career. At least that's what happened last year, but ended up coming back. But this time, I think he's actually gonna mean it this time. Saw his short little video of like him on the beach, like being all sentimental and stuff, talking about his career. So, I mean, I know in our friend group we kind of clowned the whole goat jokes and like NFL broadcasts, whether it has nothing to do with the Buccaneers. They always find a way to incorporate them into the broadcast and make Brady graphics. But even though I wasn't the biggest Brady fan of the world, honestly couldn't stand him, but you gotta respect the excellence. He had a great career. Playing to 45 years old is absolutely crazy, and I don't know. I don't think we'll see anything like that. But overall, just a great career for him. Unfortunately, the Bucks kind of struggled this year. It wasn't the greatest year, and got kind of manhandled by the Cowboys in the playoffs. But overall, gotta respect the career Tom Brady had, even though I wasn't the biggest fan. But yeah, kind of surprising. Honestly, I would have thought he'd stick around for at least 1 to 2 more years. But then again, what else does he have to prove? He's kind of done it all in his career. He's won so many championships. So I think it's kind of the right call for him in the end because he doesn't really have much to prove. But overall, very good career for Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely is probably one of the best career that we've ever seen. And with the news coming out, I think with my prediction, I think if he were to stay, obviously I don't think anyone knew if he was retiring or not besides him. I think it obviously I think he would have gone to a team like the Raiders. But he ended up calling it quits, which makes me a little bit more happy. He's finally out of the league, and I said this last year. It just it feels weird because as someone who started watching the NFL around like 2007, 2008, all the quarterbacks that I've grew up with are slowly retiring. Like Big Ben retired, Breeze retired, Rivers retired, Brady's retired. Who am I I'm forgetting some others, but like you also have other QBs at the end of their careers, like Rodgers, Wilson. They're towards the end of their careers. Matt Ryan's probably going to retire maybe this offseason. So it's been kind of sentimental at the same time, where you're just kind of thinking about it as like how much I hated watching Brady succeed and win Super Bowls and the stupid 28-3 comeback that was hard to watch. And I mean, it's just still kind of makes me sad because like all these guys are retiring. And I'm sure like we could kind of feel the same about the NBA because in like 5 years it's gonna look completely different. Like a lot of stars that we watched growing up are gonna retire. So it's definitely a little sad. But just on Brady's career, I mean, I don't think we'll see anything like it. I think you can make a comparison to Mahomes, where this guy has been in the AFC Conference Championship every year of his career, basically, and that he's a starter. So, I mean, it's still very early on, but that is a little thing that you can kind of maybe compare it to. But Brady retiring, man, like it's just kind of gets you in the feels because he's been doing it for 23 years. Like that's as he's been doing it longer than we've been alive. So I mean, it's definitely been crazy, man. And now seeing him retire, it's um, definitely kind of just a crazy thing. But I'm not too overly like crazy about it because last year I think I had a bigger reaction. I was like, damn, like Brady really retired. Like that's like I didn't get my head around it. Then he unretired, but now it's kind of it still kind of hits the same and not as much. But congrats to you, Tom. Very happy that you had a successful career and hope you enjoy retirement. Let's hope he doesn't get bored next month and unretires again.
Oh yeah, he like signed like a mega deal with Fox, didn't he?
Yeah, he has a. We won't see a lot. Like he's sad, dude. Like this guy has
Yeah.
money.
I need to look up that contract. I knew it was something crazy.
It is something. I wonder how he'll do as a caster.
10
How bad is it?
years, 375 million.
Wow.
Jesus, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I think honestly, yeah, 37 and a half a year. That's a lot of money. Honestly, maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I can't really envision him being a good broadcaster. Yeah, like he would be like in that Tony Romo conversation, maybe.
I don't. Romo's been annoying recently. I
Yeah,
think
I've
people
seen
have seen.
TikToks. People are really getting annoyed of him.
It's like I like him. Like I don't think he's definitely one of the better announcers we have. But dude, I'm just gonna like read the stupid. I don't know, Jim. Like, dude, that really gets me good. Like, it's just every. That's whatever. But I looked it up. That's the 300 million is literally Brady made 300 million his career. So
Crazy.
he's gonna be a little rich man after this. But no, I'm very excited to see how he does as a broadcaster because he definitely can do it. Like the Peyton Manning broadcast on ESPN. I don't know if anyone's ever watched it. I really like watching that. Like him and Eli are really entertaining and fun. It's more like if you actually want to watch the game, I wouldn't recommend it just because it's more like they're literally just talking and like with their special guests and whatever. Like you're barely paying attention to the game. But like I think Peyton has a really good way of doing it. He's definitely like obviously he's smart. He knows what he's doing, and he can really like teach you a little bit about football. Like when you're just kind of as a casual viewer, if you don't know that much about football. But and just hearing like his stories with Eli, and then when they talk to their guests, it's really cool. So I don't know. Brady can't do that on a Fox broadcast as much, but it'd definitely be interesting how he can kind of bring out his personality as a commentator because we know that Brady has that funny personality, like that kind of laid back personality when he's like chilling. We've never really seen it too much because he's always been competing and in the playoffs and wanting to win. So I'm definitely excited to see a different side of Brady.
Then we can talk about the Super Bowl matchup. We got the Chiefs and Eagles. Coming off the championship games last weekend. The Niners Eagles game wasn't very exciting. I tuned in for that one. Brock Purdy got hurt, and I already forgot what the guy's back was. It Josh Johnson or something
Josh
like that?
Johnson,
Yeah. So Brock Purdy got injured. That kind of just set the tone. Obviously, the Eagles kind of just dominated that game, and wasn't necessarily entertaining. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the Bengals game, which I heard had some controversy. I saw the play where Mahomes got shoved out of bounds, ended up costing the Bengals the game, and seems pretty close. I unfortunately didn't get to watch the live game, but personally, I wanted the Bengals to win that one. I wanted to see Joe Burrow win the Super Bowl, to be honest. Kind of on the Patrick Mahomes like hate train, if you want to call it that. It's not necessarily I hate Mahomes. I'm just not a fan of his wife and brother, which I'm sure everyone can get behind. But yeah, I wanted to see Joe Burrow back in the Super Bowl again, have a redemption game, if you want to call it that, in the Super Bowl. And then, yeah, so we got the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I believe, in 2 weeks from now. Personally, I'm going to be cheering for the Eagles on this one. I think Jalen Hurts has had a great year. He was my fantasy quarterback, even though I rarely paid attention to my fantasy team. But Jalen Hurts was a beast this year. Had a really great year, and I think I want to see an underdog win it. I think the Eagles are kind of considered the underdogs in the Super Bowl. I would probably say the Chiefs are probably favored in this matchup if I were to take a guess, but yeah, I'm probably gonna take the Eagles for the Super Bowl matchup, and yeah, see where that goes.
Yeah, so starting off with the NFC Championship, I did have the Eagles winning, but obviously not in that fashion. Prayers up to Brock Purdy. It really does suck with that. What is? I think it's a PCL. It's what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but something with his elbow. Going to be out for the next 6 months. Some are speculating a year. He might have to get Tommy John surgery. I know one doctor said that, but it wasn't a source that said that. So you get Josh Johnson. He comes in, played for 14 different NFL teams, been in the league for a long, long time, but never really got a start, never really got a really big opportunity. And then you come in and probably didn't take many practice reps at the week, and it showed. Um, but how that game kind of went before the Eagles went up 21-7 is kind of how I saw that game going. You're gonna have to use Christian McCaffrey, a lot of short passes, a lot of working, the 6 yard gains, and that's exactly what they did. I think if Brock Purdy was in that game, I honestly think the Niners could have taken it. Um, I just think that Eagles defense it's good, but I think the Niners with that one drive where McCaffrey just absolutely just carried the team down the field in the second quarter. I think it just kind of showed what that game could have been, but obviously it was a little bit different. And obviously the Eagles just destroyed them. Hats off to the Niners, an incredible season. No one saw you getting here, especially when Garoppolo went down. But you have to kind of think where you'll be next year. I think you just got to see what happens. That I think this team is geared up for another NFC Championship run. Um, it just really sucks what happened to them. Now, not too much to say about the Eagles. It was kind of expected once Purdy went down and what you kind of saw, but dominated on offense and defense. The run game was incredible, especially Jalen Hurts in the run game. That man is insane as a dual threat quarterback. Chiefs are definitely going to have their hands full, especially with that defense. That Chiefs defensive line isn't, in my opinion, as talented as that 49ers defensive line. So that's going to be definitely a little bit interesting to see how they can take advantage of that. Now, kind of moving on to that Chiefs and Bengals game. I mean, that one was crazy. That one was definitely really fun to watch. And I know this past weekend we had a little bit of controversy with some NBA refs. Same with the
Oh yeah,
NFL. Same with the NFL. That I can't say any bad words, but that little situation where the Chiefs got an extra play because something with the clock or something with the clock was absolutely like insane to me. I don't know how you let that happen. I don't know what you do to even give the Chiefs an extra play. Like it doesn't matter. Like just reset the clock or just take off 40 seconds or whatever. No way that should ever happen again. And same with the NBA. The NFL has a ref problem. This has been going on for years where games are just decided too much in the playoffs because of a ref's bad call or a ref's decision making. And I saw a clip where Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, both NFL insiders, said that the NFL knows they have a problem and they know that they have to fix it. And it's definitely a weird subject because how can you really fix it? I mean, full-time refs is something that they've been saying, and I think that would really help because, you really got to train up these refs in the off season, make sure that, we can go over their mistakes, go over, what they should have done or whatever, or wherever you kind of go with it, and give them just good salaries that they don't have to go, worry about going to another job or whatever these refs do. Cause I don't know, like, what does an NFL ref like? What else do they do? Like,
true.
just kind of weird, but they really have to get this sorted out. But back to the game a little bit, and that last call with the roughing the passer, there were a bunch of on it real quick. There were a bunch of like holding calls on the offensive line that were missed, a bunch of false starts, a bunch of questionable pass interference calls on the Bengals. It was a lot of stuff that I just didn't agree with, and it was just honestly a poorly officiated game. But to the one call that people are getting upset about, I forgot his name, something Osai. I think it's Jeremy. I don't want to say it's Jeremy. I don't know why. But the Bengals linebacker, 58. That roughing or unnecessary roughness, that's 100% a penalty. Mahomes is already 2 steps out of the white, and then you decide to shove him. I know people are like, "Oh my god, that's so soft," but it's clearly like it's in the rules. Like if that was your quarterback, like if that was Joe Burrow running on the sideline and someone from the Chiefs do that, you would be screaming unnecessary roughness. If it was Dak Prescott, if it was Aaron Rodgers, if it was anyone in this league, hell, if it was even like who's a terrible quarterback, I don't even know. I can't even think of one right now. Derek Carr. Yeah, let's just say him. Like if it's Derek Carr running down the sideline and he gets pushed like that, I'm screaming for a penalty. So like, stop getting him out at the refs. I know it was very annoying, but come on, like we all should be adults here and know that that's a penalty. So now with that Super Bowl matchup, Chiefs and Eagles, I'm going for the Eagles. I just as a Raider fan, I just can't. I'm so tired of Patrick Mahomes. I have to see him twice a year. I just hate the way I hate a lot of things. I hate the way he walks, number one. That's just one of my things. It's okay though. But I'm gonna go for the Eagles. I think that their team's more complete. I think their defense is better. I think their offense has more balance to it, which I think the Chiefs' offense has Pacheco to help their run game, but their run game isn't really too scary. I think that Eagles' defensive line is gonna harass Mahomes all day. And I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be kind of like Mahomes is going to have to carry. I just look at this Chiefs team and like their rookie corners played really well that past game against the Bengals, but I just think it's going to have to be some like Mahomes magic to kind of help them win. So that's just my quick little thing on the Super Bowl. I think Eagles win. Score prediction. Do I even want to say a score because everything I say is wrong.
As
I'll
well
go
see if it holds up.
Eagles. Lord, we'll do it next week. I'll give you my score prediction next week. I don't want to say anything right now. Give me another week to think about it.
Definitely got the time. So kind of building off that ref problem. So my emotions have definitely cooled down, but
Oh yeah, they have.
last Sunday or it was Saturday, Lakers Celtics. Lakers are on a 5-game roadie currently, and I wasn't able to catch a majority of the game, but I got home in time for the fourth quarter, and man, I don't think I've ever screamed at a TV more in my life. And the refs gotta be better, bro. Like Patrick Beverly, he had a definition of a roller coaster crunch time. He drilled a huge 3, had a putback dunk, and but then I think we're up 3 with like under a minute to go, and I'm not going to say it wasn't a foul because I think it was, but Patrick Beverly, I think Boston was going for a 3. Al Horford in the left corner hit the top of the backboard. Jaylen Brown came in for the offensive board, and then Pat Bev just has a stupid foul where he tries to block Jaylen Brown and then hits him over the head, and he gets an and one, and eventually that would tie the game with 4 seconds left. My issue is, don't know the ref's name, but he was a bald guy, I'm pretty sure. So the bald guy was at half court, all the way at half court, calling a foul on a guy that's at the basket, which seems kind of odd because it's usually the baseline ref's call. But he came all the way from half court whistling that foul on Patrick Beverly. Again, not saying it wasn't a foul, but I would think that the baseline ref would see that more than the guy at half court. So that bald ref, 4 seconds left, is at the baseline, at the Lakers basket. LeBron gets the ball. You know, we usually see LeBron step back three. That usually misses 99% of the time, but hey, LeBron has listened and he actually drives to the basket. Clear as day, gets hacked on his left arm, throws, you know, people have been clowning him for his tantrum that he threw, but it's probably just a Laker fan in me, but bro, you cannot. I would be very upset because it's happened like four games now where the Lakers in crunch time should get a foul call and they don't, and it's always a 2 minute report coming out saying, "Oh yeah, it was a foul," but it's like there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, "Oh, we were wrong. Sorry, we'll try better next time," and that's happened 4 times. LeBron gets hacked on his left arm, complains for a whistle, nothing. Pat Bev with probably the greatest technical of all time, coming out with a camera to show the ref LeBron getting fouled. And
that was crazy.
People get mad at that tech, but honestly, I can't blame them either because that's the only way the refs are going to see it. And I don't know how you're going to get mad at a player for showing you a mistake that you made, but that's besides the point. So, yeah, that bald ref was literally caught up in being a fan and just looking at LeBron and not doing his job. And the Lakers just came out completely flat in that overtime. Jaylen Brown went off in the overtime. I think he had like 9 or 10 points in the overtime. It was just, can't really blame the Lakers. The refs missing out on a very obvious foul call is just very demoralizing. Plus, you're on the road in Boston, rivalry game. It's just hard because it's happened 4 times now. You have the Sacramento game. You have where Kendrick Nunn got fouled on a 3, should have been a 4-point play, no call. You have the Philly game where, granted, I hated that possession with Russ isoing Embiid, and but pictures came out of Embiid holding Russ's arm, which again is a foul. You have this game with Boston, and there's some other game I'm forgetting, but yeah, just a lot of missed calls at the the Mavs game, the very obvious one where Troy Brown arguably got fouled but didn't call it. LeBron got fouled at the end of the first overtime, didn't call it. So just 4 games in a row, or not in a row, just 4 games in very recent succession where the Lakers just get gypped out of a call and ended up losing those games. So it's just very hard. Shameless plug, but I posted my initial reaction on our TikTok account and love the interactions on the TikTok video of LeBron's foul call, but man, can I say there's some certified LeBron haters out there? It's quite honestly a lot of delusional people out there in the world. People saying that LeBron's always gotten the whistle. It's about time he doesn't get foul calls. He's always throwing tantrums. You can't reward that. And it's just a lot of hating. And I guarantee if you look at the free throw numbers, LeBron is probably nowhere near the top. And it's crazy because he's a guy that's always prided himself. His whole career is basically predicated on just getting to the basket and getting free throws. And it's crazy, man. It's currently LeBron is free throws attempted. He is 19th in the league, averaging 6 free throws a game, which is crazy for a guy like LeBron. Currently, it's Giannis leading the league at 13, which kind of blows my mind because Giannis is kind of the same way, where he just barrels down the lane and gets foul calls because he's just that guy. But LeBron somehow doesn't get those whistles, which is crazy. And Twitter investigators went wild. I think the head crew chief of the Lakers Celtics game, people found his wife's Twitter posting pictures of them in Celtics jerseys saying "Go Celtics," and I think that crew chief is like 36-2 when he refs Celtics
Yeah, I saw
games,
that.
and it's just crazy. So I think the refs had to be held accountable. I've seen videos of people suggesting that refs should get fined for missed calls, which I kind of agree with, but it's kind of just subjective. Because sometimes it's just a bang bang play and it could go either way. But I think if a ref misses this bad of a call, I think some sort of punishment has to be made. Whether it doesn't have to be like a crazy fine, but I think like a small fine of like, I don't know how much refs make, but like a small percent, like maybe like $5,000 or something like that. Just something to just incentivize refs to pay more attention and be willing to look at the ball, and just whenever players get down in the paint, just be more wary of contact. It's just kind of exhausting seeing. I don't think I've ever seen so many missed calls happen against a team in my life, and it's just kind of sucky. But um, especially with the Lakers fighting for a playoff spot right now and having 4 games that have just cost them very crucial playoff positioning. So yeah, we'll see what comes out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some conversations this offseason about fixing some refing issues and how they can be better moving forward. So wouldn't be surprised if that gets talked about heading into the offseason for both the NBA and the NFL. But yeah, that's my little ref tangent. So let's get jumping into this nice little we're going to be doing tier lists for the first time on this show. Hopefully spark some interest, spark some hot takes. So yeah, we got 4 on today's show. Sharing my screen here. So starting off, we got NBA teams. Where will they finish? So kind of foreseeing the future. Starting off with the Houston Rockets. I mean, there's been a lot of turmoil coming out of Houston. You have Eric Gordon saying no progress has been made in the Houston organization. Alperen Sengun has been a huge bright spot. He's been kind of dogging. Dropped like 30 and 20 on the Lakers. So he's been really good the past couple of games. But overall, not seeing a sense of direction from the Houston Rockets. I mean, they still have Eric Gordon on the roster, and they're still wanting to trade him for a first. And quite honestly, Steven Silas, I don't know if he's the guy moving forward. I don't know if he has necessarily the locker room under control. But you have John Wall coming out on a podcast saying that like Jalen Green, KPJ, like if they weren't on the Houston Rockets, they'd be out of the league just because of their play styles. So overall, it's not looking great for the Rockets. Currently last in the West. So honestly, I'm wanting to put them in the horrific category if that fits with your criteria.
I think that's fine.
There we go.
I think that's okay.
Okay. So we got the Rockets horrific. Now the Miami Heat. Let me look at where they're at currently. They are 6th in the East right now. So currently struggling. They've been dealing with injuries basically throughout this whole year. You have Kyle Lowry missing time. You have Jimmy Butler constantly missing time. You have Bam missing time here and there. Just most of their key guys, rotational pieces, have been missing for certain points throughout the year. Honestly, I think they'll make the playoffs. I think that's kind of a guarantee for them. I don't see a world where they don't miss it.
Yeah, I think that team is a playoff team. I just don't see them actually competing with teams like the Celtics, Bucks, and like Nets
Yeah,
even this year. It's just not a really competing team for a championship.
I agree with that. So, moving on with the Hornets, another team where I'm not sure about their direction. Obviously, they have a good starting point with LaMelo, but then again, they have a bunch of guys. You have Gordon Hayward making a lot of money. You have Terry Rozier making a lot of money. You have forgetting somebody, but you have a bunch of young guys. You have Steve Clifford, who's a guy who wants to win, which obviously this team's not winning by any means. Battling the Pistons with the worst team in the East. And I think you just got to pick a direction. I think you have guys like Mark Williams, James Bouknight, you have JT Thor, you have a bunch of young guys that just aren't seeing the floor. You have Mason Plumlee playing 30 minutes a night. Shout out to Plumlee, hit a dagger with his left-handed jumper against the Bulls the other day. But yeah, this is a team where I think until they fire Steve Clifford, until they trade their other veteran guys, I think they're kind of stuck in purgatory right now. Right now, I'd probably put them in the horrific tier because honestly, don't see a direction at this point in time. But competing for the Wemby sweepstakes, which I mean, if you can get him LaMelo, talk about viewership, I think that would be a very good starting point. I think you just need to, because the Hornets are just kind of okay with just floating around the playing spot. That's kind of where they've been at the past couple of years. So I think it's just time to embrace, just be bad, blow it up, send your veterans away, and just wipe your hands of it, I think. And then moving on to the Orlando Magic, which honestly, they've looked good. They've had some pretty good games here and there. Even though they're 13th in the East, I think they're close to competing for play-in spots. Dare I say maybe next year?
I would I would say maybe they could try next year. They're not I like their core. I think they have a bright future, but they're not at a terrible level like the Rockets or Hornets. They're like if pieces develop right and they draft well again in another year, I think this is a maybe next year. Blow it up.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a blow it up tier. I'm gonna put I'll put horrific here. I think the Rockets are kind of horrific. And then Magic next year. Spelled horrific wrong.
Okay.
So kind of alluded to it last episode. I think the Raptors just got
Blow it up.
yeah, they just got blow it up. I've seen reports of the Knicks potentially offering 3 firsts for OG Anunoby, which is just ungodly. Which is,
No.
I mean, OG's a great player, but I know you sent a post the other day. I don't know if it was about the Knicks or not, but yeah, I would say maybe 2 first rounds max, and that's kind of, I'm feeling a little wary about that. But you have Fred coming up on a contract. You have Gary Trent coming up on a contract. If you bring those guys back, how much does that elevate your ceiling? I mean, you have you're worse than the Pacers at this point. You're worse than the Bulls at this point, which are 2 teams that have not looked great. Granted, the Pacers have been without Tyrese, so, but yeah, I think the Raptors are in that blow it up category. I think it's just time. You've been rocking with that team for so many years now, so Moving on to the LA Clippers.
This, I think, I kind of want to put him in the same tier as the Heat.
No title contention, huh?
Like I think they could compete for a title 100%, but it's just like I don't know, I just don't get that feeling from them right now. I just don't get this team can really compete for a title. Like that's just that's just how I feel about them right now. I don't know if it's just cuz they always choke in the playoffs or if it's just things like that, but like all the stuff happening with Kawhi, PG's been hurt a bit. I know they have a really deep roster, but like if your two superstars are known for getting hurt, then like I just can't put you on competing for a championship because we really haven't seen their peak yet because I feel like their star players never play, you know?
Yeah.
So I at the moment right now, not assuming anything, I would put them at they'll make the playoffs.
I think the Clippers. This is a year. Like I'm done. I'm done with like the injuries. I'm done with just all the load managing. Their kind of mindset is just get to the playoffs and see what happens, which I kind of disagree with. I mean, yes, you got to load manage PG and Kawhi because they've been injured for a good amount of their stint in LA. So I mean, I get that, but I still think you're the deepest team in the league. You got to get as much continuity as possible, and I think this is a year for them. At least if they go out in the first or second round, so help me God. That's all I gotta say. Um, the Timberwolves, a team that's kind of putting it together. Currently eighth in the West, standing at 27-26. Still without Cat, but don't know if I necessarily believe in this team.
Nope.
Will they make the playoffs? That's a good question. I mean, even if Cat, I mean, it should be when Cat comes back. Is that necessarily enough? Because with Cat there, it wasn't pretty. Even with him out, it's still not pretty. Kind of tempted to put them in. They'll be close to the playoffs because I think they'll be a playing team.
Yeah, put it close to the playoffs. I just don't see anything like this team isn't going to be a top 4 team at the end of the year. Like that's just that simple. Like these guys are all I mean, they're just not good. That's all I got to say. Don't
Yeah,
want to say anything else.
I think I made like standing predictions. Where did I have? I had them fifth. Bad analysis. But moving on to Sixers, Joel Embiid playing at an MVP level. Could argue maybe top 3 in the MVP race at this point in time. And Jokic had a great battle this past weekend. Very good game. Could argue Joel got snubbed out of a starting spot as well in the All-Star game. But Sixers are another interesting team. I think they've kind of been a team that's been high in terms of seeding in the East the past couple of years, but just nothing has panned out at all. And it's kind of been like second round exits for feels like forever now. I mean, there's just so many good teams in the East now. You have Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, Brooklyn, Cleveland. I mean, those are 5 teams that Philly's probably going to get through one way or another.
They're kind of on the same level as the Heat, in my opinion. Like, I think they can easily make a second round appearance if they do play good. but I just don't trust in Harden to step up when he needs to, as usual.
Fair, fair. Atlanta Hawks. Currently on 2-game losing streak, sitting at 8th in the East. They're a game and a half behind New York in 7. Pretty decent, decently far behind the Heat. So probably looking at a playing team. They're 3.5 behind the Heat. So don't necessarily know. Don't, or at least I don't think the Hawks are going to make it into a certified playoff spot. Will they make the playoffs though? I would like to think they're better than. I mean, currently it would be them and the Knicks in a playing situation. Might be
They'll make
taking
the
the
playoffs.
Knicks.
I think they're on a Timberwolves level. Like there's too much talent for them to not make the playoffs, but like they'll be in that play-in spot, and it's up to them just to make it at that point. Like no one can really do anything about it.
Trailblazers. Blow it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a great move for Jeremy Grant. You get Josh Hart last year, who, when a bunch of scrubs were playing, Josh Hart was playing great. And now he's like kind of just non existent. Anthony Simons, he has his flashes, but he's kind of streaky. It's just you're trying to switch it up, but just nothing's working. Yeah. I don't really know what other roster moves you can make for Dame moving forward. I mean, you've kind of just tried it all at this point. You've tried getting rid of CJ. You tried pairing him with a wing, which I mean, it's looked good, but you have him and Anthony in the back or in the back court, and don't necessarily know because it's kind of just the same thing as CJ2, small guards, and it's not the greatest fit. We've seen it in the past couple of years, but yeah, blow it up, trade Dame, start rebuilding with Anthony, get some lottery picks going. Boston Celtics, I don't really think there's much discussion there. They're going to be top of the contention ladder. Spurs,
horrific.
You're horrific, but I mean, you're not as horrific as the Rockets. You have some sort of direction. You got some good young pieces. You got Keldon. You got Trey Jones. You got Jakob Poeltl. Who knows if he's going to stay in San Antonio? Either he's may get traded, or I believe he's up for a contract this season. So we'll see with that. But try to get Wemby or something. Get a high pick. You're on that path, but yeah. Bucks again, going to be contending for a title. Good old Lakers.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Will they make the playoffs?
This team, I think, they will be close to the playoffs. This team right now is not as bad as the Magic. I hope.
You can argue they have more direction than the Lakers.
You could, yes, easily. But I think like they have the talent, don't get me wrong. They have the same talent as like a Hawks or a Timberwolves team. Like when you talk about stars, at least. But their depth is awful. So I just think that it's a close. Like they'll fight. We'll be fighting for a playoff spot all year. We actually make the playoffs, who knows? But I think we'll be close. think it's a fair little ranking for this terrible. I mean, great team.
I want to disagree and say they make the playoffs, but it's like
Let's not get too hard of ourselves.
I mean, like it's just they've had so many opportunities. I mean, like they had the 5-game winning streak, and it's just like whenever the teams above them lose, the Lakers lose, and it's just like they've lost so many opportunities to move up that I'm starting to lose faith. And I mean, the schedule gets a little harder moving forward. It's not much room for error, so I'll agree for now. Put them ahead of the Magic, though. The Brooklyn Nets. I feel like they'll contend for the title. No?
Yeah, I put them above all those teams, right below them. Personally, Ben Simmons is awful though, but what can you do?
Yeah. I don't. We're gonna have that discussion very shortly after this year. I think if it's time to give up on Ben Simmons, but we'll talk about it a little later. The Phoenix Suns currently in the bottom half of the conference. Kind of
Blow it
move a
up.
note. Ooh, blow it up.
We know how we feel about the Suns on this good old little show here. They're terrible, but for being serious, they'll be close to the playoffs. Or well, I mean, they'll probably make the playoffs, but like I just don't see them on the same tier as those teams.
They're
That's my
only a
opinion.
game. They're only a game behind the Mavericks. Or actually, they're tied with the Mavericks for 6 in terms of games back. So I don't even know when Booker's coming back, bro. He's been out for a long time, but I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt. I think they can make.
Wow.
Oh my god!
There it is.
Thank God.
Oh.
Okay, almost had a scare there, but yeah, Phoenix. I'll give him benefit of the doubt. I assume Booker's gonna come back.
Fair.
New Orleans Pelicans. You know they've been really struggling. They've lost 9 in a row. One and 9 their last 10. Just got Brandon Ingram back for 2 games. I mean, it felt like Ingram was out for like 50 games. Zion still like I think a week and a half away from being reevaluated again, so no real confirmation if you're getting Zion back anytime soon. So I don't know, man. I want to say they can make the playoffs. I want it. They're better than the Jazz. I say. I think they're better than Timberwolves.
I think I truly like this team when they're healthy, and I think
True.
they're on the same level as the Suns and the Heat and like all those teams. So I think you'd say they will make it to the playoffs, but the one problem with it is can they get healthy? Like,
Yeah.
and like I just want to say off of just I guess I think you just put them on. They will make the playoffs. I think that this team once healthy, but like you have to kind of gamble it because if they can't get healthy, then I don't think they'll make it. But I think that if this team at their peak is 100% a playoff team.
Detroit Pistons, horrific.
That is true.
People were saying this year that maybe they compete for the play-in spot.
Next year.
I think
Oh wait, yeah, that's fine. I was just saying maybe next year is like an actual just like statement, but I forgot that that's like the fucking thing.
I think they're kind of on the same tier as them. Wizards blow it up. I said it last show.
That is a blowed up.
Nuggets, title
Finals
contender.
championship. They'll make it.
Might be a hot take, but I think this is the year where the Mavs gonna do some foreshadowing. I think the Mavs either lose in the first or second round, and it's gonna be some serious questions whether they can get Luka help. In the way Luka's playing, you better get that man some help. But the question is, how do you do that when you have guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway and Christian Wood, no clue, but hey, you're gonna have to figure it out if you're Mark Cuban.
It's like, dude, it's crazy. Like when you watch this team, like I saw, or not even watch the box score. Luca went off for like 60 or 50 the other night. Next closest score to him has 9. Like
Yeah, he dropped like
it,
it was against the Pistons. He dropped like 53, and Dinwiddie was second leading scorer with 12.
yeah, something like it's just crazy. Like,
Uh,
whatever. I feel
to,
bad for that man.
to barely beat the Pistons too, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
the Pacers, I mean, I want to say the fourth seed at some point, but Tyrese Halliburton's missed some time coming back against the Lakers. Sure enough, everybody comes back against the Lakers, but um,
I think
I think
these
close
guys,
to the playoffs. I think
yeah,
because who they? I mean, they could probably beat Washington in the play-in, but could they beat Atlanta and New York? Probably not. Close. Golden State Warriors. This is an interesting one. Uh,
I would like to say they can compete for a title. Like, regardless of like the quote, like the struggles they've had, like you're telling me come playoff time, you don't feel like that this team like gets it together and like
fair.
can make a run for it. Like they just have too much talent and the team really hasn't changed too much. Like I think like if you look at it, like they still beat the Grizzlies like every time they play them,
Yeah.
and the Grizzlies are ahead of them a little bit in the West. So like I think everyone overreacts too much of the like beginning of the season like struggles, and they just kind of have to let it go.
Utah Jazz. Where are they? They're currently ninth.
I
They're
miss
the surprising team of all time with how they started this year, and then they kind of came
I
back
miss it.
down to earth.
I miss the Jazz at their peak.
I honestly thought they were gonna sit at
I
top of the
really
West.
like
Not gonna
that would
lie.
have been crazy. I was rooting for it. Like I knew that there was a high chance that they go back to being terrible, which has happened, but I truly think I was a believer, which is okay. Um I think you because if I'm just truly looking at it is I think that these two teams or that they're better than the Magic and Pistons clearly. Are they honestly though? Cuz like their rosters like pretty bad. I just don't know how they've accomplished what they've accomplished.
Larry Markkinen and Walker Kessler. That's it. I'll say close because they're in
Yeah,
the plan.
we can be nice to them.
Cavs.
They'll make the playoffs.
I agree. I think next year you have a good shot at
Yeah,
competing for a
give them
title.
another year. This
OKC
one,
Thunder.
honestly, just with all their picks, they can try next year. Like it's not horrific yet. Oh, Knicks, you can put it to blow it up.
Really?
They just, but they're not gonna blow it up. But I think they should blow it up because, like I mean, yeah, they're 7th right now. But when it comes playoff time, like, do you really think that they're gonna take a series off like the Heat,
Definitely.
Cavs? Exactly. So blow it up. That,
Why are they going to blow it up? They just signed Jalen. I think Julius is still on a monster contract. Yeah, he like just got
that's
extended a couple
that's the Knicks'
years.
fault. They thought something and they clearly thought wrong.
Plus, RJ
Okay.
RJ Barrett is kind of questionable for me at this point.
Okay, this one has to be blow it up personally. Thank you. Grizzlies. I hate the Grizzlies, so put them at make it to the playoffs. Their egos
Yeah,
are too big.
I mean, they're top of the West right now, but I don't think they're competing for a title just yet. I mean, even if they did somehow make it to the finals, I don't think they're beating any of the Eastern Conference teams, to be honest. I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. You can argue.
Compete for the title. Light the beam, baby.
Damn straight. You know,
Yes. Yes.
you can argue that the Kings have been the Cinderella story this year. They're first. There's Sacramento Kings, you know, making the playoffs is equivalent to winning the championship for Sacramento fans. I mean, by all means, celebrate that. Celebrate that. So yeah.
I think realistically, I put them at they'll make the playoffs, but for the funnies, like you can post this to social media and people will see the Kings competing for a title. I think it's funny.
I'm gonna kind of rank these. I'm gonna say out of the blow it up tier, who has to blow it up the most? Toronto?
Like I know the Wizards and Blazers won't realistically blow it up because they're just stubborn franchises for some reason. I'd have to say the Raptors because there's like all that inside stuff going on. Like you can tell that there's turmoil or whatever the word is, and people are upset. Like I forgot who came out and said it. Said there's like nothing changing or something like that. Think that that team has to blow it up.
I'm gonna go with the Bulls second.
Yeah, Bulls would be second.
Blazers.
Hornets, I think Hornets would be third, just because I truly don't believe the Wizards or Blazers actually like
True.
blowing it up. Now, should the Blazers and Wizards be at the top of this list? Yes, but they won't.
Try next year. I mean, Lakers should be first. Is OKC more ahead of schedule than the Magic? So
Those draft picks and Chet coming back next year, no one knows how he'll play, but the hype certainly, I'd say they're ahead. They also do have 13 or 11 more wins, so.
true. I think next year OKC is probably going to be at that stage where they have to do something. They've been rebuilding for a couple years now. I think Grizzlies should probably be at the head of this list.
I think you put, yeah, I mean, I think Cavs should definitely be ahead of all the Western Conference teams, though. Like, I mean, I don't like the Suns. The Pelicans are injured. It's don't even have to say the Mavericks, just say Luca.
True.
And I mean, I think the Cavs and Clippers have had some close games this year, so I mean, they're kind of on the same kind of level. So I think this is fine. Kings 100% right there.
Yeah, the Kings, I think they're kind of just miles above the rest, honestly. So, but besides that, I think the rankings
That's
kind of
fine.
fair. Yeah. How much time are we at? We are at 58 minutes. We can speed run one more tier list, which I thought was a pretty good one. So here's our official tier list of where teams will be at the end of the year. Sacramento over everybody. Don't care about your feelings.
I'm saying.
NBA
Wow.
mascots. Here we go. Okay.
Full screen in it. Let's see this.
I don't know what the Hornets mascot's called.
Hornets, trash. Masterpiece.
Yeah, I agree. Is this the Thunder one?
Yes. Oh, it is.
No, it's the Sacramento one.
Wait, which one's the Thunder? Oh, wait, I see the Thunder one. Just put it to okay. He's done.
Yeah.
Wrong. Who made this
Trash.
mascot?
Yeah. Chuck the Condor, bro.
What is that?
Is this the Kings one? I think it is. I'm gonna look it up.
Honestly, just put it to who made this mascot.
Kings mascot. Yeah, that line looks a little weird. Bernie. Masterpiece.
It's the Grizzlies, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Trash, just because of the team, and I hate the team.
It has like a
Uh,
it has like a G League logo on the jersey. Put you there. The Orlando
Masterpiece.
Magic.
You could put that one in good.
I
He's
forgot.
pretty silly.
I forgot
but
what the Coyote's called. I forgot his name.
I don't know any of these names, to be honest.
The Wizard
Sixers
one.
Oh wait, no, this is the Wizards. Whoopsies. Just put them to okay.
I think that's the Jazz.
What is that?
All of them are just like majority of these are
Trash.
just Bears.
I don't know what that is.
I
You can
think
put it as
this
trash.
is the Thunder one.
Hawks is okay.
Agree
He's
with that.
fine.
Bucks one.
I mean, I've never seen a clip.
I think he's pretty decent. The Trailblazers. Okay.
He's done nothing wrong. Is that the Rockets one, right? The
Yes, the big
Put it
bear.
Put it to good. And the Raptors one's also good. Like, I'm just going off of like if I've seen a clip of them. Like, if I've seen a clip, that means you've done something silly. So like you deserve to like go up there.
I haven't seen this Phoenix Gorilla in so long, so I don't even know what happened to him.
Just put it to trash. Like, what the hell?
Really?
Like realistically, like we're thinking about it. Why is that the mascot?
Yeah, but it's a gorilla. He's kind of legendary.
I just put it to okay then.
The Mavericks.
I didn't even know the Mavericks had a mascot, to be honest with you.
It's kind of goofy.
Masterpiece.
Nuggets. Sixers.
He's okay. What?
Cavs. I haven't seen this one forever either. It's kind of creepy.
Trash. What is that?
I don't even know what this one is.
Who made it? You already know what the next two should be. Come on.
The Celtics.
No.
It's literally just a guy.
Don't even give him the little bit of status. Yep, there it is.
Pistons, I believe.
I don't even know what this is. Just put it to okay. He looks like he's done nothing wrong.
The Pacers. Okay. Timberwolves, I think.
Let's put it to trash because what the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't even know what this.
You just put it to who made this that one's good.
Pretty solid.
Seen one silly clip, so that means he deserves it.
Benny the Bull, the best mascot of all time.
It's either him or the Coyote for the Denver Nuggets. But I'd say Benny the Bull because he has more social media attraction. Look at him, man.
Honestly, Benny the Bull is kind of a legend. Yeah, so we kind of rushed through that mascot tier list, but figured it's what the people wanted nowadays. But yeah, coming up on time here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tier list. We'll probably do more next show potentially, but yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a good show. If you're new, feel free to check us out every Friday from 4 to 5. Follow us on all our socials at the Basketball Maestros. And yeah, I think that'll about do it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.